But yeah, I have one more last topic. I feel like we're always good with time. Like, how we always like perfectly have this like a 145-minute podcast every single time. It seems like.
Because I always say what's next around the 15 to 20 minute mark.
Nah, no, we have this. No, but we was done with the conversation.
Purposes.
Yeah, but we was done with the conversation anyway.
Because I led the conversation to be that way.
It's not coincidental.
Go ahead. This will be about 1 second.
Well, this was just like something dumb I just thought of today because I seen a TikTok. Like, this is nothing that's like relevant right now, but just something, I think it's good to have a topic here and there that's not really geared to pop culture, just something that's like important to talk about. But I showed you the TikTok earlier in the car where a girl is essentially saying like, oh, boo-hoo, like sarcastically making fun of light-skinned women that have said that they've been bullied by dark-skinned women growing up, and that it was, a lot of them feel like it was rooted in jealousy. The caption was like, Queen Naja into the chat because Queen Naja hasn't, they haven't got off her neck for years. Like, it's unfortunate that happened to her, but I don't know if you know the backstory. Like, that's why they use the whole it was Queen Naja's fault. Like, she's like a meme on social media. Like, people hate her because she did a video with Chris when they were still together, and it was like they literally, this was like probably 8 years ago, 7 years ago, and they've been dragging her about this. Like, she was saying how she was bullied from like dark-skinned, nappy-headed girls growing up, and like the way she worded it was kind of crazy. But she's half black, so like she's just talking like she's from Mississippi, Detroit. Like, she's talking the way that her mom talks. She wasn't even raised by her Arabic side, so I don't think she meant it with ill intent. Like, nappy is just a word that's in our community, right? Like, we just say it, and she was just saying like it was just always like dark-skinned, like nappy-headed girls that like made fun of me growing up, and like that's her experience. And people really just dragged her for saying she's colorist and this and that. Like, isn't this so crazy? And I do agree that a lot of colorism in our community, a lot. And I do agree there's a lot of light-skinned women that provokingly come for dark-skinned women. And I do agree there's a lot of dark-skinned women that come provokingly for light-skinned women. And so, yeah, that was a TikTok. They basically, it got like 70,000 likes. People in the comments were like agreeing, like, yeah, they think jealousy, like jealous of who, blah, blah. And I get it. Colorism benefits lighter skinned women, right? Like, you would admit growing up in the 80s, 70s, like, my own sorority had a paper bag test, like, for people who could get in. Like, the colorism in our community is deep, and it damaged the darker skinned people. Like, they were the ones that were the root of the colorism, like the target of it. So I'm not being insensitive at all by saying, oh, like, well, light skinned people dealt with stuff too, because I get the oppression of, the benefit of colorism benefited lighter skinned women. They were in a lot of the shows, like, the Cosby Show. You see, like, everybody's favorite character was Lisa Bonet. Like, it always was that, like, the light skinned girl with the, like, greenish eyes and like the loose hair texture, right? Like, with a really curly, puffy hair. What happened? Oh, sorry. So, it's like, I get it. It's like the same thing, like I told you earlier, like, where people like me who were really skinny growing up, and like I did deal with legitimate bullying. Like, I did deal with legitimate, like, I would say trauma that still affects me to this day. Like, comments about my body from family members, from people at school, from friends. But whenever skinny girls talk about it, it's, oh, boo-hoo, there's no such thing as skinny shaming. Like, because they say, oh, being skinny is a beauty standard, you guys benefit from it, blah, blah, blah. So for me, I just have an issue with, yeah, me as a skinny person now, because I don't benefit as a black skinny girl. Like, being black and skinny it's like you're the bane of your community. Like, you're like the black sheep. Like, being in the black community, like, where everybody's thick and stuff, not really the beauty standard in our community. But it's like, I get it. It's not, like, right? You would say being skinny is not the beauty standard in the black community.
Yo.
Do you think?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's not at all.
We glorified
thick legs,
obeseness.
Yeah, obesity, basically. So it's like, I get it. Like, I get as a society, I would benefit. I get light-skinned women as society, and even within the black community, benefit. But should that be a reason to take away from people's experiences, individual experiences? Like, you can't take away from, like, my mom is light-skinned. She has stories. That's her experience. And like, you're going to say that her experience is not justified or valid, and how her emotions aren't valid because she benefits from colorism. No, you could still get bullied for stuff like that, because dark-skinned women have a lot of like hatred that might have been passed down because of the existence of colorism. And it's unfortunate that they feel that way. And obviously it's rooted that they feel that way because of colorism. But you can't take away from the fact that might have been a real reason. And like, the jealousy might have existed. The jealousy shouldn't exist, because I think all black people need to realize, like, we all like look good, and the jealousy shouldn't exist. But that doesn't mean that they didn't have some form of jealousy, and that was not a factor in their bullying. Like messing with a girl for no reason and calling her names about, oh, like light skinned girl, oh, you think your hair is better. Like that happened to people. My mom said it happened. Like a girl literally was trying to like pull her hair out. Like it was like, for no reason. It's not like she did anything. So to say that's not a justifiable reason. Like of course my mom still benefited from being lighter skinned. Of course she did, and she acknowledges that. But does that take away that she was affected by the bullying? Right? Same with me with being skinny. Just because skinny is a beauty standard, does that take away from the fact that I'm still sometimes self-conscious to this day because people asking if, oh, do you eat? Like, you know how many times I heard, oh, do you eat? Even from family members, like, oh, is this girl eating? Blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, anorexic, bulimic. Like, I've heard it all. And that's not going to make me upset and sad because fat people go through it worse. Like, no. I can't control that I'm skinny. Fat people can control what they eat. Like, I'm sorry. That's something that makes me mad too, right? Like, they can control that. You're only fat because you eat too much. No, but for real, this is my genetics. Like, look at my wrist. I could be huge. Like, my grandma had these genetics. She went through a really period of a lot of weight gain, and her wrists and ankles were still skinny. That's just our genetics. Being fat is not genetic. Like, sorry, don't, like, you're not gonna make me feel bad because I got bullied for something I couldn't control when that girl could have put the food down. That's why I feel.
Bragging about eating more is crazy.
Exactly. Like, people were really mean. Like, I didn't get it that bad because I grew up in a, oh my God, that's the only thing I kind of could do.
Oh, if you grew up in the hood.
Ooh, thank God I grew up in a predominantly white town. I swear to God, because the bullying could have been so extreme. I did not get bullied that much. I'm not going to sit here and say I got bullied. But I do remember, like, one of my old friends, and she probably was a liar, because one of my old friends was a real hater. Like, I think she was a hater and she was insecure. And my mom thinks she lied about this. But it's crazy that this is still a vivid memory. She came to me and called me and said that when she was at cheerleading practice, that somebody from the team who was in my grade asked if I was anorexic. I'm like, I was like in 6th grade. Why would I be anorexic in 6th grade? I mean, I'm sure people are anorexic and that young, but I'm like, she could have been lying because she seemed like she was kind of like the jealous type and just like to be mean. You know who I'm talking about. Probably the friend. Because you know her and you were around when we stopped being friends.
I don't know anybody actually.
Childhood friend.
Oh, no, I was thinking about somebody else.
Childhood friend who was.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody.
I think she was lying. But like that stuck with me. Like, come on, she told me that when I was 11. I'm 26, about to be 26, and I still remember her saying that on the phone. Whether she's lying or not, that affects me. So it's like, we're not gonna do this whole light skinned people aren't affected by bullying, skinny people aren't affected by bullying. Like that, you guys sound like you're mad almost that we have these experiences. Like, why are you mad that we got bullied too? Just because we benefit, what you perceive as we benefit from something, we don't have emotions, like valid feelings. I don't. Nope. I'm always feel sympathy for anybody who got made fun of for something they couldn't control. I'm always feel sympathy. And I feel sympathy for dark-skinned women who dealt with stuff. Of course I do. Especially because they dealt with it a lot worse. Maybe, some of them. Depending on where you grew up. As a society, yeah, you review differently. But that doesn't mean take away from other people's experiences. And I feel like as long as those people who, I guess I as a skinny person still acknowledge some form of privilege that people, I mean, I'm not going to say it like that. Like, I do acknowledge some form of privilege, right? But that's not going to take away from the detrimental experiences I had growing up. Literally wanting to be part of the skinny jeans trend and couldn't fit in fucking skinny jeans. Like, I couldn't even fit in skinny jeans. Skinny jeans were baggy on me. And then the day freaking glow happened, I found size 00 existed. And they were still baggy on me. Like, that's crazy. But those are like pivotal experiences in my life that literally like affected me. And it's like, you're not going to say that that's not valid because fat people as society have it worse. No, get on the treadmill and put the donuts down. Like, and I might sound insensitive, but is there any medical condition or genetics for people to be more fat?
Mm-hmm.
There is. Okay. So I feel bad for that. I have sympathy for that. I don't have sympathy for somebody who couldn't put the food down and never stepped on a treadmill. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. And you can say, oh, I don't have sympathy for you then, skinny bitch. Like, okay. I don't care anymore. I did as a kid. Thank God for confidence and a mom from Brooklyn who will fight anybody. Like,
that's just an American thing. Americans will clown you for not being overweight.
Exactly.
Or will gas up being overweight.
Yeah, like yes, slay. Yeah, slay to the freaking hospital bed. And then you got GoFundMe links. You want us to send prayers. I mean, all she had to do was stop eating that much. It's definitely the American thing, and then you have the Black American thing. Like it's so detrimental. It's so crazy. Like, ugh.
Let's have a talk about food not being that good.
It's really not. I was looking for that Chipotle burrito, and like I bit it, and I was like, this don't taste like the way I remember it. Food is not that good.
I'm only saying that, and
I'm sorry, I still got this cough, guys.
I don't care what anybody does, honestly. Like if you are not impacting the world. Well, actually, you know what? Let's do I want to do this? Do I want to go on my what they would call fat phobic rant?
No, we could go on it because I honestly don't feel sympathy for people who self-destruct. Like I feel sympathy for people who are born that way. I do, but I mean, some people have no control. Their parents fed them like crazy growing up.
There's a lot of
things.
They
creative, and they got that made a food addiction. They probably like hate their parents for doing that. So I do feel sympathy for some
people that are born in poverty are more inclined to grow up unhealthy and lead unhealthy habits because that's what they had access to because of those things being the cheapest items that they could actually afford. So there's a whole other like I'm not ignorant.
I don't want to be.
I'm not ignorant in that sense, but still.
I think I just got trauma, so I had to like vent.
The only thing I wanted to say was just, was a conversation that it wasn't even a conversation. She was just telling us. One of my coworkers, who's very obese, saying how she's doing keto because she needs to lose weight because it's starting to impact her health. Now, for me,
we getting to that age.
No, she's like 50, 40, 56. She's a lot older than me.
Oh.
So,
yeah, I mean that makes more sense.
To me, it's like, yo, food is not that good. Like, I know that there's people that have conditions, but I would be inclined to say that 99% of the people that are obese or overweight do not have some more sort of medical condition for why they're eating high calorie foods at an excessive rate and able to maintain.
What about addictions?
Yeah, but still.
Food addictions definitely exist.
Yeah, but just don't be addicted to food then.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to sound like that, but like, let's say this, for example, the way I compare food and food addictions, you know, the way to get addicted to cigarettes is by smoking cigarettes.
Yeah. So the way to get addicted to food is by eating.
Just eating excessive food.
But what about people who were raised in that environment and it's hard for them to turn around because that's all they know. Like their parents raised them on eating horribly, like. Mm-hmm. And then that's the reason why they're even big. Cause you ever see like a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, like why is that baby that big? Mm-hmm. Because her parents are feeding her like crazy, and it's sad because then they grow up just being, born being. I mean, they grow up and become a teenager already fat because of how their parents had them eating.
Well, I do understand that. Let's blame the parents then too. Yeah, still,
you gotta blame the parents.
And also, you can still shake those things. It doesn't take but like a year at the most to lose all the weight in the world that you need.
It doesn't even take. Yeah,
it doesn't take that.
A year. It takes a few months.
Yeah, a year was being like the highest of the range. You could lose 100 pounds in like 6 months if you really wanted to. I see people with
weight gain journeys who are real serious about it. They change.
Weight loss journeys,
sorry. And they change fast.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just unfortunate it gets to the point of where a doctor now has to tell you you're taking years off your life because you don't want to put down the empanadas.
Yeah. Like you said, food is really not that good. Like, and that's us literally coming from family that southern roots. Like, we ate good food.
Great food. Excellent food. I miss my grandma's pies to this day.
Yeah, and it'd be good, but like you feel like stuffed after like a few bites. I'm like, all right.
You just got to stop.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I think we talked about this in the podcast before. They said like you really supposed to stop eating when you feel satiated. Like once you feel satisfied, like your hunger goes away. That's when you stop. Some people eat until they feel full, which you shouldn't. Some people eat because they're you could blame how you were born. They feel like they need to finish their food because they don't, it's almost like how dogs overeat because they don't know when their next meal is going to be. Jesus Christ. But I think as a grown person, you got to get that's an excuse. Like, you got money to afford the next meal. Stop. Put the burrito down.
The crazy thing to me about food, the craziest part about eating, is that people are making choices about their lives and how long they're going to live based on like the 30 seconds that your taste buds actually get to taste the food, because once it's in your stomach, you don't get to continue to taste it.
Yeah.
So whether you drank water or you drank a soda, the only difference between those two things is that like 30 seconds of the taste on your tongue.
bubbles.
And once it gets down into your stomach, there's no difference in what you ate or anything. So people literally dying over the 30 seconds of sweetness that they get to taste when they have some chocolate or something like that is crazy to me.
It's crazy, losing limbs.
And while
freaking
while of course like I had watermelon juice earlier, which tasted great, and I wanted watermelon juice.
yeah.
And I drank it because it tasted good.
Yeah.
And it only gave me that 30 seconds of tasting good. So I do understand it.
But that's still, even that is only a small portion of what you consume. Like you on a daily have that gallon water bottle.
And watermelon is extremely healthy.
Yeah,
but
it's like one of the healthiest fruits actually.
Yeah, and it's mostly made out of water.
Yeah.
But so I do understand it. Obviously, I'm not gonna sound like a hypocrite. It's not like I ain't gonna eat an Oreo. Like obviously these things taste good, but I'm also gonna go run 6 miles. But
Yeah.
you also, it's just that part is crazy to me. It's like I have to sit and look at this overweight woman tell me. What are you laughing about? I'm not saying anything funny. It's serious.
No, that's
It's like you're looking at. I have to listen to
this. Saying something else.
This obese woman. And I wasn't leading into a joke, but it's like serious. Like this obese woman telling me to everyone's face that she has like serious health complications now because of food. Like that's crazy as fuck. And I know that
I feel sympathy, but at the same time I don't, because it's
don't.
obvious. Like these commercials tell you every day. We learned this stuff in health class. This stuff is so obvious. And I understand the people who don't have access to that. I get it. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about people who literally have access to this information. Like if you're working at where you're working, you've had enough privilege to know, and even to have access to a doctor, to know what the stuff was doing to you.
How come when people stress eat, they don't stress eat something healthy?
Exactly. You can't just eat a salad. And not a salad with Caesar salad and all this cheese and croutons. Well, the croutons not really unhealthy, but thick dressing. You know what's funny? Like black people love to be like, I'm gonna eat a salad.
And then
his barbecue chicken wings.
The salad is 2,000 calories.
They like that barbecue chicken salad that we used to get at college. Yeah. That was not no salad.
Corn, barbecue sauce,
sauce,
ranch. What else it had?
That thing was hefty.
Cheese. It had all types of shit. I'm like, this ain't even a salad.
I never could finish it too. It was so
I'm not gonna lie. It was basically like a meal. It was just chicken.
It's just instead of rice, it was leaves.
It was just put together. Yeah. Like if you separated it, it would have been a full plate of food. Yeah. But it's just, obviously there's different scenarios and different factors. Yeah. While I do understand those scenarios, still, right? It's like almost the same thing as people having drug addictions and they're self-medicating. They don't have access to certain things. But the way to not get addicted to doing stuff like heroin is to not touch the heroin. Like,
yeah.
I hate to sound
know the
insensitive.
risk when you're about to take it. Like you hear the horror story. So what makes you think you're different? That you're not gonna get addicted?
Yeah, I'm addicted. Addicted.
It's just
addicted.
Yeah, I don't get it, honestly.
This was definitely a fat rant. I don't know why, but it just bothered me. It just bothered me. But they're not to have you on. I'm like, now I got to listen to this person talk about how their health is declining because of food. I'm like, I saw you. You're drinking alcohol. First of all, alcohol is one of the worst things you could possibly drink as a beverage.
Alcohol is so bad for you. That's why I tried not to drink it. It's so bad.
And we eating. Well, I wasn't eating it, but they were eating fried shrimp and empanadas and chicken this and baked mac and cheese.
And my whole thing is, I think everybody should be able to enjoy those things, but it's all about limits. It's all about moderation. That should only be like once a week, and at that, it shouldn't even have to I feel like you only eat like that if you're going out or if you just want to have like a cheat day. But don't make it a habit to eat like that like multiple times a week.
It would be clutch if they had just had like a seasoning that tasted like these things. Like if I wanted to have mac and cheese, like spray it on something healthy and then just eat it and it tastes like mac and cheese. Because like I said, that's all that matters. Like mac and cheese is good for the 20 seconds it's actually in your mouth, and then after that you don't feel anything in your stomach. You don't taste the mac and cheese all the way through your digestive tract.
Once it's in your stomach, it feels bad.
Yeah, it feels terrible. And then after a while, like the weird dairy taste that's in your mouth is nasty too. So it's like it's just crazy. I just want at the root of everything I'm saying, people just be healthy, and it's been compromising the US health system for decades at this point. Still the number one killer of people in America, and you go to other places where people can even eat excessively, but because what they're eating excessively is stuff like chicken and pasta, it's not even that crazy. Like they're
portions
not
are a lot smaller too, usually.
Right,
depending on the country. Like a lot of Europeans portions are so small. Like when I was in Paris,
Yeah, you don't need a
I went
big
to a
plate.
Chinese restaurant, a vegan Chinese restaurant. The portion size was small.
That's something I've been working on. Like I remember, I used to down that whole like if whenever I got Panda Express, I would get the full bigger plate with the thing of rice and then 3 entrees. It's like, nah, wait, I'll still buy the bigger plate, but now I'm gonna bust this down over 3 days.
Yeah,
because you don't need to eat it all at once just because it's there.
it's there, and that's like I was saying. The main thing is eat until you feel satisfied. Like there's lots of times like you be kind of messing with me like, oh, finish your food. It's like, nah, I'm satisfied. I mean, I shouldn't be wasting it. I shouldn't be wasting it. I should eat it the next day instead of ordering something new.
That's the part, yeah.
That's the issue. But literally, like you saw, I ate like half that burrito. I'm gonna heat it up and finish it tonight. But I was fine after 2 bites. I was like, I'm full. Like I'm not full, but I was satiated. Like you shouldn't feel full. Feeling full is actually bad because you feel like, ooh, you can't move. The itis, you feel sick. Like the way people feel on Thanksgiving. Bad. Like that's what I'm saying. You shouldn't eat until you feel full. You should just eat until you're satisfied. Like once you feel like my hunger is gone, I'm good. If I don't need this food for survival, like 'cause that's really why we eat. You only eat to live. So once your body got what you need, you just can stop. It's real simple. And like just stop the generational trauma. Like this stuff is traumatizing. People losing their grandparents and just parents prematurely when they didn't have to lose them is traumatizing. And why? Subject that to yourself first of all, and to your family, your loved ones. You know, why have your loved ones be traumatized because you couldn't control your eating, and spend 30 minutes at bare minimum, 30 minutes at least to go run or just be in the gym, just be active, jump rope, walk, like anything. 30 minutes out of your day, that's nothing. So. You could say this up to your blue in the face, but the only thing I know is I just hope our families are good. That's all I really care about at the end of the day is my people I love. So you guys can do whatever you want, but don't post no GoFundMe links when your mom's losing a limb because she didn't know how to put the KFC down. Cause I'm not donating. I need to stop.
Yeah, you gotta stop saying shit like that because something bad's gonna happen. It ain't gonna be funny.
I am just being exaggerated for
the
entertainment.
For watching.
I'm being exaggerated for
entertainment. It's not entertaining.